Hello, a very good morning to all of you. So today we are starting with our most important third session of our ancient India. Last time we had seen Stone Age, and after that we have also seen the Indus Valley civilization. Now let us go according to the timeline so that you can understand history very well with all of the essential facts and the terminologies. Okay, so here right from the start we had started with the Stone Age. Now, this Stone Age started right from 2 million years ago. Okay, and we had covered all the Paleolithic, Microlithic, Neolithic, and Chalcolithic. Okay, and this Stone Age had no evidences of literature, and that is why this Stone Age is also considered or is also termed as prehistoric age by the historians. Okay, this is also termed as prehistoric age. Why? Because we have no of the literature evidences in this age or for this age. Now, after that, it was during 2600 BCE up till 1500 BCE that we had seen Indus Valley civilization. Now, as this age constituted of the evidences of both of kinds, the literature evidences as well as the archaeological evidences. Okay, so this age consisted of both of the evidences, archaeological evidences like coins, inscriptions, potteries, okay, and the literary evidences also. But we very well know in the last lecture that these literary evidences are not yet deciphered. Firstly, as the script is not judgeable, and secondly, the script is totally in the pictorial form, and that is why it makes it difficult to be deciphered. So that is why historians call this age as protohistoric period. Protohistoric period. So in this way, we have seen prehistoric and the protohistoric period, both of them. If you haven't done with this sessions, please revisit again and then you can come for our today's session. That is Rigvedic period. Now this Rigvedic period, why it is called as Rigvedic period? Okay, by the way, what is meant by Vedic? What is meant by the Vedic term? Okay, now Vedic means it is derived from the word Veda or Ved. Okay, now what is Veda? Veda means knowing the enormous amount of knowledge. Okay, it is meant by knowing enormous amount of knowledge. Okay, and this knowledgeable age is known as Vedic age or the Rigvedic age. Now the Rig word is the Sanskrit word which was used for the text during this ancient times, and that is why this period is known due to the evidences that we got in the literature form. Okay, let me show you by the image how it seemed during this period so that it can stick in your mind in very proper way. So if you see, okay, so this is the Rigved. It consists of the Sanskrit script which would be deciphered easily because in today's date also we follow the Sanskrit script. Okay, now this all were the texts like Rigveda, Samveda, Atharva Veda and Yajur Veda. Now these were written by the priestly classes. And that is why each of the administrative provision, each of the political provision, social life was being known to the historians with the help of this literature. So if we compare the Rigvedic age to the Indus Valley civilization, you would come to know that Indus Valley civilization has major evidences with respect to the archaeological excavation. Okay, the excavation which were did by the Alexander as well as Dayaram Sahni in 1921, okay, they were majorly of the archaeological nature. But when we come towards the Rigvedic age, we get more of the evidences in the literary format. And that is why everything what we know about the Rigvedic age has been derived from the literature that were available with the historians. Is that fine? Now, before moving towards our topic, first let us discuss about what were the previous year's questions that were asked by UPSC prelims. Now, in the year 2017, UPSC had a question which was differentiating between the IVC, that is Indus Valley Civilization, and the early Vedic age. So what was the question? Let us see. With reference to the difference between the culture of the Rigvedic Aryans and the IVC, which of the following statement is or are correct? The first statement is Rigvedic Aryans used the coat of the mail and the helmets, okay, in the warfare, whereas IVC did not leave any of the evidence of using them. Okay. The second is Rigvedic Aryans knew the gold, silver, copper, whereas IVC people knew only copper and iron. Okay. After that, the Rigvedic Aryans had domesticated horse. So some statements are correct, some are wrong, but first let us discuss about this topic. Okay, we'll again come towards this question. Okay, now the second question which was asked in prelims 2016 with reference to the cultural history of India. Now see, यहाँ पे the UPSC is asking the question about the cultural history of India. Now the dimension is the cultural dimension. Okay, the culture history of India, with reference to the culture history of India, the memorizing of the chronicles, dynasties and the history and the epic tales was the profession of which of the following? Now guys, if you very well remember our previous session or the first session where I was talking about the evidences through which we learn the history, okay, there I have talked about the Harsha Charitra, there I have talked about the Kalidasa. So who were this? These were the court authors, right? And these court authors were termed in the Sanskrit word as the Magadha. Okay, so here the answer is Magadha. Now, in 2012, the question was the religion of the early Vedic Aryans was primarily of bhakti, image worship and yajnas, worship of nature, and yajnas, worship of nature and bhakti. Okay, so let us first dive deep into our today's topic, okay, and then come towards this question. So as I have told you that this Rigvedic period is known as the Rigvedic period due to the reason being the evidences which we have found of this age. And these were the literary evidences which were called as the Rigved. And hence we term this age as the Rigvedic age. Okay, so in today's session, we would be discussing about who were the Aryans. Okay, now the Rigvedic period is mainly known due to the Aryans. Okay, the Aryans are one of the most important feature of this Rigvedic period. After this, we would be discussing about the Rigvedic culture, the social culture, the economic culture as well. After that, we would be discussing about how was the geography, how was the climatology during the Rigvedic period. Okay, after that, we would be also having an analysis over the political, social and the economical angle of that time society. Okay, after that, what was the craft production and how the trade and transportation evolved during this period. Okay, after that, we would be also having an overview on the religions and the rituals that were evolved during this Rigvedic period. So without wasting any of our time, let us first start with the invasion of the Aryans. Now, these Aryans were the people, were the warriors of this age. Now, there are many of the theories who were these Aryans. Some say they were the external people who invaded Indian subcontinent. Some says that they were local to the Indian subcontinent, but they were the warriors. Okay, and some say that they came from the Arctic region. Now, if you refer to the historical evidences or the references, so you will find that many of them say that after the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, okay, after the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, Indian subcontinent was remained hollow. Okay, and due to this, the people from the Afghanistan, okay, now if you see the map properly, okay, now just suppose this is Indian subcontinent and this is another world map. Okay, so here is the Afghanistan, here is today's Pakistan, okay, and here it is India. Okay, so many of the theories say that these Aryans had invaded from the northwestern region. Okay, now many theories says that this was the Afghanistan region, which was known as Balkh region. Okay, Balkh region. And the Aryans resided originally from here. The Aryans were the native from this Balkh region, and they came to India through this the Silk route, or the extension of the Silk route. Okay, and they majorly resided in the present Rajasthan, Punjab, and some part of the Pakistan. Okay, now this is the first theory. What does the next theory talks about? Some of the theories talks about that these were the Aryans who came from the Arctic region, and with the help of astronomical calculations. Now this theory was being presented by Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Now he was an extremist as well as he was an historian also. So when the Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak says that the Aryans invaded, or Aryans came from the Arctic region, that is the North Pole of the earth, right? So when the Aryans came from the North Pole, they came with the help of astronomical calculations. Now this signifies two things. First, that Arctic region had life, right? Second, it signifies that during this period, we had evidences of science and technological development. Okay, if they are coming with the help of astronomical calculation, it's but obvious that the science and technology would be developed at a high pace. Okay, so it signifies two things. Now, what does the third theory says? The third theory is with respect to the Western theories. Now, the Western people says, or especially the Britishers says, that the Aryans has blue eyes. Okay, Aryans had blue eyes and the white skin. Okay, and that is why they can be said to be coming, or they had been coming from the European region to Indian subcontinent. Okay, and the fourth theory says that they have came from the Turkey region. So all these theories are debatable. In fact, each and every theory is debatable. Okay, there are some of the evidences with respect to some theories, but there are also none of the evidences if we take into consideration of the Bal Gangadhar Tilak's theory, or if we take into consideration the European theory. Okay, so there are the debates which are still present in today's date. Okay,